dreams. I see you, I feel you. That is how I know you. Go on.
I want it that way.
Hit me, baby, one more time.
No, I don't want no scrub. Scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me.
Hanging on the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me.
I'm a genie in a bottle. You gotta love me the
It's my life, it's now or never. I ain't gonna live forever. I just wanna live while I'm alive. Bye, bye, bye. I'm Mr. Brightside.
We're meant to be together. I'll be there and you'll be near, and that's the deal, my dear.
I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams, where the city sleeps and I'm the only one, and I walk alone. When you left, I lost a part of me. It's still so hard to believe. Come back, baby, please, 'cause we belong together.
You should let me love you. Let me be the one to give you everything
You're beautiful.
want and need.
Said I'm so sick of love songs, so tired of tears, so done with wishing you were still here. Said I'm so sick of love songs, so sad and slow. Why can't I turn off the radio?
Hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York
the left,
City?
to the left.
You're 1,000 miles
You're
away, girl,
irreplaceable.
tonight you look so pretty.
I said
yes,
it's
you do.
too late to apologize. Touch my body, throw me on the floor, wrestle me around, play with me some more.
Just
Touch
don't
my body,
stand
throw me on the
there,
bed.
make
I
me
just wanna
cry.
make you feel like you never did.
Alright, because I love the way you lie.
You know I'd catch a grenade for
California girls
ya.
wear unforgettable days. They do bikinis on
I'm
top.
on the right track, baby, I was born this way.
You're diamond.
Now you're just somebody that I used to
Shine bright,
know.
you're diamond. But here's my number, so call me maybe.
I knew you were trouble when you walked in.
'Cause I'm happy.
I'm alive. What do
So
you
happy.
mean? I'm alive.
'Cause I'm happy. Why you gotta be so rude? Don't you know I'm human too?
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Friday night and I won't be long. Gotta do my hair, put my makeup on. It's Friday night and I won't be long.
So love me like you do. Love me like you do. Honey's not the best ever. Get what you think. Despacito, puedo respirar tu cuello despacito. Deja que te diga cosas al oído. Quiere que te acuerdes si no estás conmigo.
So won't you ride with me, see where this thing goes. If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, if it's meant to be. Havana,
I love the shape of you.
half of my heart is in
Just like
Havana.
nicotine, heroin, morphine. Suddenly I'm feeling all I need, all I need.
Why don't you just meet me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just meet me in the middle? In the middle.
Hey guys, I'm actually finally better today. So I thought that I would come in and kind of just give you guys an update on what's happening and what's going on because I do have a birthday dinner for my daughter, and it's been there's been a lot going on. You see this guy? I got back from Chicago, and on Monday he went into the vet because he had an issue. So there I was with a burning in fever, taking him to the doctor in the morning. Um, I didn't know that cats had anal glands. And so this little guy gave me a scare, my little old man. So it's been crazy because Thursday, it was actually being in Chicago was quite fruitful. Friday morning as well. Um, then I had some downtime with friends, well, a friend. And then Saturday, got a lot of work done in regards to all these protests that were happening. Um, was able to get a couple things documented in regards to who's funding what. And then I was able to, I'm not crash because I was invited, but here's the deal. Last weekend, I was actually supposed to be in North Carolina for a wedding, but it turns out, and that was planned like obviously a long, long time ago. Um, so I couldn't make it in time after my morning thing that I had to go to, which was, part of the leadership meeting for these for the Sunrise Movement. So I wasn't going to be able to make it in time. So I just went to my friend who I've known almost 20 years, and she finally baptized her son. So I went to the party, um, and I acted unlike myself completely. Um, and then by the time I got to the hotel, which was early, I was sick as a dog. And at the venue where she was having this baptism party, there was a Chihuahua cartel. Like, no joke. These were members of the Chihuahua cartel from like the signage that they had on. There was a wedding right next door. And I'm like, oh no. And then I got really, really sick. To the point that my cousin was like, did someone drug you? Guys, my cousin's husband, like, he might see this, he might not. I don't care. I say it to his face. Rubs me really the wrong way. And at some point, and I don't drink, not because I'm an alcoholic or I just don't like alcohol. I was always a lightweight. I stopped drinking when I was like 22. I was like, this is weird. And that was because I was after I had Hera and I dropped her off at my parents because I was going on an assignment, and I went out somewhere in London the night before we were going to leave. I went out partying with a bunch of people, you know, diplomats, freaking military, whatever. And I didn't remember anything the next day. So that was probably the last time I drank, I think. And I can't even smell tequila till today. So, oh, you can't hear me. Hold on. Let me get this microphone closer. Is that better? So that's why I stopped drinking, because I just didn't like it and I didn't remember anything. And then days, a couple weeks later when we got back to England, there were pictures of that night and they were not pictures I want to see again. Okay. So this is why I don't drink. Um so I didn't drink, but I did sip because I felt pressured to. Um and I got really, really sick. Like really sick. My ears were hurting. Yesterday was the first night that my ears didn't hurt. Um, I've been like throwing up, coughing. You know, I'm wrecked, and I still haven't slept. Like yesterday, I didn't sleep, but the good thing is I didn't have ear pain because I had my eardrops, and but I was still coughing. But it's not like a cough, like Anyway, it's a cough. Let's see. So I have a birthday dinner now. I've prepped everything. I did everything. I decorated, made a cake. Wait till you guys see it. Like, I am actually impressed. In the meantime, while I have been completely dead, right? Like, I remember coming back Sunday night and I thought that someone had run over me with the train, and and said, "Oh, are you hurt? Let me just back that bitch up over you again." That's how bad I was. So, yeah, and then Monday morning, I get a hold of my cat and I see bleeding, on his underside as he came to cuddle me, because I was kind of just laying on the couch, burning in a fever. And so then, obviously went to the vet. Um, they took him in, um, and then he's he's better now. I mean, at the anal glands, it actually went through his skin. And I was just like, what? How, what? Like, am I supposed to be expressing glands? Like, what am I doing? And they were like, no, it's rare in cats. And I was like, great. Of course, my gem is going to have all the rare shit, right? And cha-ching. And I was just like, this is not okay. And I was such a hot mess. Um, but they were so kind. Um, and then I was working on I tried to work on the case on Monday. It was not happening. And we were filing it yesterday. So yesterday, last minute, I kind of like put in my 2 cents. Because it's $25,000 retainer to an attorney. So that has to, I mean, they're supposed to do work, obviously, but there are a couple things that I want to accomplish, which I tried to get done. This case is actually quite important, almost like the Tina Peters case, and I want to kind of like hone that in and just say this now that I'm on downtime because all I have to do is lamb chops. So I'm going to start cooking the lamb chops in about 20 minutes because everyone's arriving at 7. So they're marinating right now. So where do I start? Well, let me just start with Chicago, right? Um, well, first of all, it was a lot of fun too because I got to go and see some sales associates I have, and so let's talk about the fun stuff. Sales associates I got to hang out with a really good friend of mine. Super had a lot of fun. It was really pleasant. We had dinner and we had so much fun. And she is like ride or die. Um, so that was the fun part. Oh, and obviously seeing my friend Penny, right? And let me tell you guys how I met Penny. So it was like 2009. Um, I had a contract with Language Line, um, and I had to go to DC. But the thing is, with my cover, I'm supposed to be on top of things, but I wasn't. You know, mom to 2 small kids, constantly traveling, and I was in school, right? That was the year that I shared the desk with the guy that discovered that hydroxychloroquine blocks the transmission of HIV. So I dropped the ball. So I reached out to her because she was an interpreter and I said, hey, can you cover my shift, please? I know this is last minute. She did. And I said, I know you may not think of this, but because you did that, I will be the most loyal person you have. When you need me, I will be there. It's almost 20 years later, and I'm always there for her. Phoebe was actually her flower girl in 2016. And get this, we in person had only seen each other maybe like 3 times. Okay. And she's like a friend. Um, Her son was baptized, and I knew that she was pregnant after trying to have a baby. A lot of people try to have babies nowadays and can't. And she finally had him. So when we were in Cairo, I made sure to get some oil from St. George's because she named him George, to give her, which is from kind of like an anointing oil. So that was pretty nice. So that's the fun part. Actually, I dragged my friend along to, the Haymarket bookstore. I wanted to kind of just walk around a bit, found that they're still using dog walkers as watchers. And what do I mean by that? What people don't seem to realize is that these bookstores, there's a couple in PDX, there's a couple in every single state, actually. Um, they're the ones that drop the dog whistles. Now, that specific bookstore is extremely important for a lot of things. Um, and I just wanted to see what they were doing, not anything else. Um, I saw that they were still using the dog walkers. Mind you, the guy that was walking the dog around that place at that time was all fucked up. Like he had, healing bruises on his face, on his eye, your typical alphabet soup promoter. Um, so that was quite fascinating. But I also saw that they are utilizing Faraday fabric on their bottom floor to obscure people from seeing what they're doing inside. There were a lot of people there. You can't enter through the front. You have to go through the back. Today, yesterday, they had a meeting of the minds with a lot of people about nonviolent protests. And this is because they are getting somewhere. And in the meantime, during this weekend, a lot of things have happened with us and the team, right? Um, aside from us monitoring the actual people, this Antifa panel was such bullshit, but it's a decoy. It's necessary so that they don't think we know. But what's interesting is that there there are people that are part of that go through the momentum training. Let me bring the microphone a little bit closer if I can. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see if I can move this a little bit. There we go. So there are a bunch of people that are part of this nonviolent civil action or whatever that are quite dangerous because get this. So I knew that when we went to Rome that there was something going on. Well, it turns out a lot of these subversives, and we're not talking about the blue-haired idiots or we're talking about people like Roe, former USAID, because I did see Alexandra Chalupa there, right, in Rome. Under the guise of that event happening, they actually got training from foreign trainers on nonviolent action, protests, and there is something huge coming down the pipeline. Someone asked what lawyer charged a 25K retainer. It's John Fleifer, from that works with Warner. I think people don't understand just how much a civil suit is. Let me just put that parentheses. Darren, let me get back to that once I finish what I'm saying. So, so there's something huge coming down the pipeline. I know November 5th is quite important to them too. They're planning something there. It's quite fascinating to see them group up with the feds, but also something that I found out yesterday when I was deadly ill and kind of just going through the chats. Um, they said that hold on, and I'll repeat it to you. They said something about a state-sponsored trip to Gitmo. I was like, what? So these people are actually going to Gitmo. And then the weird thing is that um, you know, none of us felt the government shutdown, so we're good. But you know, because even if you read the New York Times, they'll tell you that nothing's really happening. But they're like, in regards to ICE, DOD, and everyone else who thinks it's a stupid mission. But, you know, if POTUS really wants evil people to go to Gitmo, they'll put one or two of them. I'm like, holy shit, who the fuck is this bitch talking? And I haven't figured out like her role. Well, I say her, but she could be a he because these are all chats that we have. So that was quite fascinating. Don't look at the stupid things that you're watching. The dog whistles that were being dropped by the bookstores to get all these blue haired people and people that wear chains and shit and the alphabet suit supporters is one thing. We have like serious foreign interference with this usurpation that is actively going. Um, and it concerns me that there is no discussion of it. But one thing that I discussed, and I'll say this with counterpart Nate, was um, ever since we started using chain of custody watermarks, on all our information and videos, get this, no one is talking about it. Now, it's important that I notate this because when he had provided Millie Weaver that infamous Zoom call, or a bunch of them, and she just didn't give a fuck. She didn't know what she was looking at. She's not that smart. And we were like pressuring her, hey, do the momentum thing, about the kids, this, that. Here's what happened. Um, Patrick Byrne, well, she was approached by bigger journalists like Lara Logan and stuff. And she, felt like she was important because they reached out to her and they asked her for all that information. And what they did was they took it and then they put it on a website without any of her name on it or anybody's name on it, just dump basically, and took credit for it. And so this is something that they do normally. So now that there's watermarks, no one wants to talk about it. What, the audio is bad? I mean, it's probably because I'm far. I just don't want to be totally in your face. I want to like lean back. Ugh, I gotta reposition my microphone, I guess. So anyway, so they don't want to use it, which is quite fascinating in itself, because they only want to use it if they can monetize it, right? And they can't monetize other people's things, so they won't talk about it. And that goes back to like, you know, other discussions like this we've had. So I find that, the discussions we had on that was quite fascinating because, you know, he as well as I have been sending it to pretty big names, and this is like super juice, and they won't use it because they can't take the watermark off. And watermark just says chain of custody. So why not? Key thing here. All right. So moving along from that, we're still observing them because there's some kind of movement happening on that. So for all of you that thought that the King's protest, the No King's protest was the thing, I need you guys to understand that it was wanted by this administration. We wanted them to do that. We had people in place to observe. When I was in Chicago, the National Guard were everywhere. There were people there. So we wanted it to happen because it was a distraction. See, this is what I need you guys to understand, that when they organize protests that nobody knows what they're there for, but they're all coming from different camps, from like the climate change camp to the anti-Israel camp to the anti-Palestine camp to the anti-Christian camp to the tree hugging camp to the oil and clean energy camp to the LGBTQIA camp to the they them camp to the whatever camp. All of them in No Kings were about that. And you saw a lot of politicians also amplifying that, which is something that, when the habeas corpus actually comes through in Tina's home and there is a Supreme Court hearing, I will definitely bring that up because they, were all there, and a lot of violence did happen and a lot of people were arrested, which totally went under the radar. So I want you all to understand that there's something big brewing that you just don't see yet. And that's because no one wants to talk about it. I will try to uh, get that out to you in a way that doesn't compromise, DHS or FBI, because as I said, we provide them all this information so that way they have it. Um, so when I see people talking about, oh my God, look at me at the No Kings protest, I was so sad to see people that are air quote journalists agitating people to get a response. That's clickbait mostly, right? It's not journalism. Journalism is going and asking questions and actually getting in on things. Now, there's a lot going on the international front, and we'll get to that tomorrow during my show. Today, I just wanted to pop in and say, hey, I'm alive. It's my kid's 20th birthday today. That's why yesterday was the deadline to file her case, because she had 2 years. And, we raised a little over $5,000, which is great. Doesn't cover the retainer or anything that's coming, which is where I'm going to dovetail. I think people have this misconception of what a civil suit costs. Okay. So My $25,000 retainer was to cover the drafting, the filing, a couple of hours of prepping, depositions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I am kind of pissed because I wanted the verbiage to be a little bit more tighter than what was filed, but I'm not the attorney. So, um, I rely on people that are attorneys, though I was a little bit pissed. I'm not because I didn't want words like political and vitriol in it, but my lawyer's running this, so it is what it is. Um, the case was filed, and obviously, it beats the test for the motion to dismiss. So we will get over the motion to dismiss. The thing is, what we're going to be looking for is during discovery to pull out more things. So we have to make sure that the motion to dismiss is passed and then on, because remember, we spent almost, I think it was $175,000 on the first lawsuit from circuit to Supreme Court. And so people need to understand what a civil suit entails. And that's why I fought so hard to be able to do it pro se. Because my case was never adjudicated on the merits, contrary to idiots' beliefs, right? They quashed whatever I was saying that a mom cannot represent their children's civil liberties. And my point was, so are you saying my kid has no civil rights unless I can afford an attorney? So I even requested the judge to appoint an attorney, like an ad litem kind of thing, but they only do that for criminal cases. So I was hoping that I could pressure him to do that. And then I was hoping that, in the circuit court, the circuit court even said, wow, so kids don't have rights unless, you know, they have money. And they were like, well, that's the way the court is, and that's case law. So tough noogies. And that was really fucked up. And then by the time we got to the Supreme Court, I had asked Warner to put a supplemental that my niece was going to be living with me. Therefore, it's not moot because I have a kid in my house that goes to the same school district that I'm responsible for. But he said, no, nobody does that. I should have pushed harder, but it's like, whatever. I trust that things that happen is because God intended them to happen that way. So I'll leave it alone. Right now, why this case is really important is because children that suffer civil constitutional insults or civil rights injuries that cannot afford an attorney have no these glasses are actually blue light glasses that I got from Amazon. I had shared the link a long time ago. I got like two for 15. Anyway, so just so you understand, children are not able to assert their rights if their parents don't have money. So unless you can afford a $25 to $50,000 retainer, your kid has no rights. And your kid has to wait until they're 18 and can afford an attorney or go pro se themselves. Now, think of the children that have constitutional insults and injuries that are 8 years old. They have to wait 10 years to have the right to file. Think of children that are 5 or 6. They have to wait even more years. And that's not okay because our children are one of the most important, I would say, citizens in our nation, right? Because they are our future. And if anyone should have their rights and liberties protected the most, it's children, right? Forget the adults, it's children. Children should have that. And that is where, I find it extremely appalling that no one else, kind of sees that. And I think it's a way where the government allows to be able to take kids from parents by doing this and other things. So I'm really hoping that this is kind of drummed through and somehow we can pull it out because I know through discovery, it's going to be very, very interesting what we find that can actually help all the other parents that filed the lawsuit to actually create a class action. Class action suits are extremely effective. So Phoebe's case will be able to give us as parents, and that includes me, the ability to come together and get a class action. Now, discussing this with actual class action attorneys in DC, they're all anticipating. Remember, when I file cases, unlike what, losers say, I actually have very good conversations with attorneys that have graduated Harvard, okay, Yale, that have been working at the DOJ. I don't not have these conversations. Okay. So when I hear people minimizing what I do, they're actually minimizing other people too. Um, and I've learned to tune that out because usually they're like crazy alcoholics who are really bored, right? Um, so they were really excited because that's what we want to hone into, changing the law and putting it forward. And you have to kind of go through motions in order to get what you need to get it done. All right. So that's the whole point of this case. This case is obviously going to get justice for Phoebe, but also set precedent for any other child that had um, gotten, injured during that period of time with these mandates and everything else. Now, um, that is one of the key things. And I did put up the Give, Send, Go. Um, and I put up for those that have contributed or go to the Give, Send, Go, you could see the link of the filing and you can read it. It's quite fascinating. Um, Now let's move on to the Tina Peters case because I hear a lot of things. These cigarettes keep turning off on their own. I can never finish a cigarette. Um, these The Tina Peters case is one that is quite interesting, right? So she should be out soon. Within a week, I'm hoping that she should be home, hopefully by Halloween. The reason I say this is because I was extremely appalled at her, initial counsel, right? A lot of people that had saw the trial had seen Tina getting overhyped up, talking a lot, going back and forth with things with the judges and was out of order. And that's because she had no defense. Her attorneys, let me take this off because one is not good enough. I took one while I was cooking off and I left the other one on. Um, so um, her attorneys, at first instance, didn't really give her a good defense. They didn't, they tried to, but they just kept getting it very messy. I've learned throughout the years that less is more, especially when you're in court, right? And this is why our amicus was so successful. Over a year, I had, 20 pages worth of shit and then reduced it. And then when it was reduced and Grant kind of took it and he was like, all right, this is it. I'm like, no, take this out. We're going to do it like this. We're going to minimize this. No, we're going to say it like this. We're going to do it like this. And we cut down a lot more than what he did. And he has a lot of experience. But for me, it was more communicating the issue at hand. And I noticed that a lot of times people that are in so deep into these cases get influenced by so many people that they just, put a lot of shit in there that's unnecessary when you need to be laser focused. Kind of with the elections, how I said back in 2020, if we had all disputed the EAC certifications, not even fucked with the code, not even, because they weren't even certified, right? If we would have done that, it would have been done by then. It would have been done right then and there. It's the law. It wasn't done. End of story. Anyone that was voted in post 2017, null and void, done. We just found that out and it would have been clean and cut law. No, nobody wanted that. Then I was like, hey, why don't we just hone in on the certificates, but also that the code changes? This is why they're not certified and blah, blah, blah. And obviously, we've been seeing over the years a lot of operations that were done. First, they were telling you about the 2000 mules. I said this in 2020 on election day. They are manufacturing the evidence to match the digital, outcome. It was known that that was going to happen. But then we see Dinesh create this whole film and show people how they were dropping things and doing things. And that helped usher in digital ID. Oh, we don't have that. What do you think real ID is? Okay. So moving along, that was a plan from the get go to get people on having digital ID. Then we saw them doing the whole canvassing thing. That was just a moneymaker and getting data and just collecting information. It was just an IO, it was an influence operation. And then we had people like Scott Pressler, which are all about, well, we could do it early. We'll just get a lot of people out. Another operation. So that's the problem that we've been having. Rather than tackling the issues at hand, we have been sitting and kind of just throwing shit out there, hoping it'll work. And if you guys remember back in 2020, when I had Patrick Byrne on my show, I said, look, everybody wants to talk about this. They're all subject matter experts, of course, right? But you all are going to be saying what I'm saying in the future because I'm right and all of you are wrong. And this is an operation. And I think I said that live. I definitely said that live. And I said, we're going to be talking about this in 2 years, 4 years, 5 years. We're going to be talking about this. And indeed, we are. Because what we saw in Tina Peters' case was an attempt for them to make record of the issues at hand with these machines. But rather than use a US citizen like myself who said it, they used the Venezuelan who said exactly what I said, but in more depth on his end. But I could have told you all that. In fact, I could have told you where to look at the State Department and what receipts to look for if you gave me the clearance to do so that is active. Or I would tell the people with clearance, I think you should look over here, 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 right? But they didn't want that, which indicates to me that this was never to be solved. This was always to perpetuate things. I mean, think about it, you guys. If they constantly keep us in a state of stress and confusion, why would they give you truth when they're making money off of that shit? Now, going back to the Tina Peters thing, Peter, who's her new counsel, and Ed, he's a good attorney. I mean, he's doing whatever he can, right? I'm not throwing him under the bus, but they're doing whatever their client says. But, their client hadn't even read the amicus until like a week later. But they're really good attorneys, though, too, Ed and Peter, and they've inherited shit from the previous attorneys, complete shit. And just so you guys understand, if I file, say, this, and it's like Red Bull, right? And this is my filing. And then I hire another attorney and say, hey, you got to pick it up. They can't change this to sugar free. It's got to stay Red Bull. But, if they can coax the other side to bring in another topic, there could be additions or extrapolations from what is being said. Okay. So, on that matter, right? Just so you understand where Tina's attorneys really sit right now, aside from that cunt Stephanie Lambert, fuck her. So Case and Tickton are exceptional attorneys, but they're extremely careful because they have inherited a mess and they do whatever their client says. Now, I don't know who the client is that thought you must file these things, because if I remember correctly, someone made the offhand remark to me, you filing an amicus is just going to drag shit on and bring more issues to the table that we don't need, and it's unnecessary for Tina. I'm like, still filing that bitch. Let the judge decide. You could say no and look like shit bags to the rest of the country, but I'm going to reframe this fucking court with my amicus because I'm not liking what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is that Tina was intended to be in prison and was intended to die there in order to get this solved. Nothing else. And how do I know that as a fact now? Think about it. We filed the amicus brief. Obviously Peter was like, thanks, but I don't think it touches on what we were saying about the First Amendment, but thank you. Sure. And he was extremely kind, but bland and narrow, which I appreciate more than him saying, yeah, we should include it, blah, blah, blah. I wanted him I like the fact that her attorney, Case and Tickton, decided to say that, because that indicates obviously lack of cooperation, because we're not cooperating. Even though I support the shit out of Tina, and nowhere in her case is my affidavit. So, I mean, it should be, but I digress. So that was a good thing. The attorney general came out saying it's not novel. And, judge said, not only is it novel, but it reframes the whole fucking case. And my filing was the only one that had Tina in mind. The only thing I want to do is get her out of jail, out of prison. She's not in jail, she's in prison. And why do I say that? because she deserves to be out of prison while she waits for her appeal, which her appeal is going to be a hot mess. And that won't even be solved till we get into federal court because it's messy and it's not precise. And Occam's razor, man. I live by that. I've been saying that for years, and I I live by that always. I mean, I have papers that I wrote in 2009 explaining why we should take approach to all problems as Occam's razor applies. Because if you don't have parsimony in what you say, it gets dirty, it gets messy, it gets too muddled. And throughout these years, I've actually learned that what you put down on paper has to be succinct, has to be non-onerous, right? And it has to be laser focused. And so our case was so good that the judge not mentioned it once but twice. And I was actually approached by a couple of constitutional professors, no joke, that were like, wow, this reframing of it, I mean, regardless if she goes to jail or not, this is an accurate assessment. I'm surprised this wasn't seen before, blah, blah, blah. And they were asking me questions, and how I felt about some other cases. Like, no joke, Ivy League professor asked me an opinion on their case that they're fighting that is similar to this, which is not. I know attorneys represent pieces of shit. This guy's a real piece of shit, but still. Um, but the core of this and why I found it most important for us to actually focus on is that this kind of sets the bar of what speech is allowed and what is it. Hold on. This is so hard because it's like an allergy cough. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I'd like some Ricola, but it's my throat is sore because I've been throwing up for the past few days. So it's like raw. um, but if I have a cigarette, I'm fine. Go figure. So anyway, this sets the bar on what free speech is. It was extremely aggressive in the way it was done by the judge. It was extremely biased. There was a little um, collaboration there. And I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen the text between the AG, the judge, and other people. Because there's signal text. Just saying. There's communications, there's collusion, and there are interests within this case. Oh shit. Give me a second. I gotta go check the oven. So you guys are just gonna look at this fuzzy background for a second. Thank you. Sorry, guys. Oh, you guys want to see my T-shirt? It's Halloween themed. I'm a frequent flyer. So my niece brought in the packages. I was hoping that it was these hard drives that I've been waiting for, but they're not. The menu, yeah. What? Where? What is she doing outside? She's coming.
She's right outside.
Okay, then why don't you come inside, Phoebe? Birthday girl is here. Yeah, the camera's creepy. Huh? Yeah, I'm not putting on the lamb chops until a few because they take like a hot minute to get made. Potatoes are done. Okay. Let me see. Oh, she made a card for Phoebe.
Boy, what are you doing?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I did. All right, so where was I going? Okay, so free speech is the key here, right? Because if you can say that what you say is dangerous, but inciting violence like Maxine Waters and all of them, don't let them sleep. Let them know they're not wanted. That's not, hateful or anything like that. Or, hey, white person, I'm gonna kick your ass just because you're white, or bend down and kiss my feet, or hey, this, hey, that, then I don't know what is. So they tried to frame it in that sense. And I'm glad that the judge is actually taking a look into it because I drew that attention in that case also. I think Grant made a really good job. Hey, Phoebe. Hi. Hey. Yeah, you can come interview. The judge did a really good job in kind of framing it that way. What'd you bring? Grace made you cake. It's red velvet.
We ate it though.
Can I taste it?
Yeah.
Oh, I inhaled it, huh? Dude, what? My birthday girl.
Hi guys.
So anyway, but the key thing here, you want to sit with me?
I wanted to show you something.
Hold on a second. Wait, I'm talking.
Oh.
So the key thing here that I noticed was that even though the judge,
She's resigning.
oh yeah, she got fucked over with my kids
No, there's a stabbing that happened.
from the stabbing.
I think that's
No, I think it's from my case because they just lost like the
Red Velvet.
So she just told me that the building manager that tried to charge me for they're resigning. So probably because now they have to pay me back all the money that I spent on an attorney, which would be a nice gift. That'll pay my mortgage for a few months. So don't undress in front of the camera. Well,
It's
okay.
hot
Yeah.
in here.
Okay. Biscuit's right there. He's doing better. So what I saw is that no everyone's saying happy birthday.
Oh, thank you guys.
X is down? No, it's not.
Happy 62nd birthday.
62nd. It's your 62nd? Happy birthday, Paula King.
Birthday twin.
Yeah. Did you like the balloon?
Yeah.
I got you an
really
elephant
good.
balloon. Yeah, I got you an elephant balloon.
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
I wanted to get you a monkey, but I couldn't find one.
Okay.
So what I noticed is that no one on social media is talking about the amicus, nor are they talking about the issues at hand. I see so many people having conversations about Tina Peters and not understanding that habeas corpus is just about her getting out of prison so that she can wait for her appeal and to actually fight outside of prison, right? So nobody's talking about that. They're talking about fire Todd Blanchard. This. It's all bullshit, right? We need to start focusing more on the facts. Yeah, so that's about it. So today we have a birthday, so I just wanted to come on and tell you guys I am feeling better. Terpsy felt so bad for me this morning. She's like, "Oh my god, this is the second day that I've heard you. Just you haven't slept at all." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm really lucky that there's Korean dramas on Netflix, or I'd be bored out of
There's
my
a really
mind."
good one. I wanna watch
Yeah,
it.
dude, I watched a Chinese one that was so dope about some time traveling lady back to the Han era or something. It was super cute. Um, and they had a lot of history. So then I started watching YouTube videos on the dynasty at that time and then it was like, oh, I don't know who to believe, the Chinese or the others. Oh, Nyx is here too. She can't say no to Phoebe.
Yeah, I'm out of my teens.
Yeah, she's 20 now. She's my baby and she's 20.
It's actually such a crazy thought that I was thinking about today. You guys have all known me since I was like, what, 13? Right? 13?
Yeah.
That's when you started your podcasting?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So a lot of the people that are like OGs that have been here from the jump. I was 13 when my mom started, and now I'm 20.
I still remember you being 15 at that White House thing and with all the staffers.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say what, but that was so
Well, I'm gonna go. I could say it.
no,
I can't.
because all of them were kids
Well,
too, but they thought that
they
you were
weren't
their
all
age.
kids.
No,
Well, no, they were all
they
kids.
all, yeah, they
They
were
were all
like
teens.
18, 19,
Yeah. So
20 staffers
at
from
the
the
White
White
House,
House.
there's some internships. There's some interns, and they gave me alcohol when I was 15.
And we all freaked out. One of my friends was like, "They're all getting fired right now," and it's like they didn't know. They didn't
Yeah.
know because they saw you hanging out with Sarah Carter and stuff, and they just assumed that you were the
Floridian
same
Phoebe
age.
is still here. Don't even.
Yeah, so I just wanted to pop in and tell you guys I've just not been too out there. Miguel has been putting together a lot of our Brennan footage. That's another thing. I will be in DC very soon. Um, but Miguel has been putting together a lot of things. She's done a great job. I can't wait for you guys to see it. It'll probably be ready tomorrow. Is that same?
Yeah.
Somebody's probably here.
Am I too heavy?
No, you're not.
Well, Alex is probably.
Yeah. And Carlo
Your
and
legs
Jacob.
are so small. I can't even sit on you.
No, they're not small.
They are small.
No, I'm still. Your Floridian accent. I can't get over it.
I'm still Floridian. Nothing changes.
How was school today?
Where? Mine?
Yeah.
Mine was good. My professor said that I wrote my essay at a doctorate level.
Nice.
Yeah, my
You're a good
midterm
writer.
grades came out. I have straight A's.
Good.
Yeah. Actually, no, mostly A's. I have one B. But that's my like really liberal class.
So Phoebe,
So,
can I ask you a question?
yeah.
If a case that's unprecedented at a state level to have an amicus accepted, right, from a party that's not even involved in the whole case, and the judge takes it very seriously and says, "I'm going to give it as much weight as I want. I'm accepting it. It's novel. It's this and that," and that actually helps the person that supposedly everyone's defending. What would be? And she has no idea what I'm talking about. Well, I'm talking about Tina Peters, but what would be the reason that no one on social media that publicly advocates for Tina Peters would talk about it? Why wouldn't they say, "Holy shit, she's getting out of prison because of this amicus"?
Because they don't truly wish for her to come out. It's more like a social media play.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would think. Like it's a stunt. Like, oh look, I care about this person. I care about this. But if it comes down to them not actually putting in any work or actually being happy that she gets out, that means that they have no more social media benefit pretending that they cared because she's out.
Okay.
And maybe after she gets out,
Oh, Michael saw Ghost Kitty. No one's seeing Isabel.
yeah. She's, I remember 13, 14-year-old BB2, 2018 to present. Yeah. That was me. How do
My
you
baby.
feel? 20 is such a weird age. Like it doesn't change from 18 till 20. I think it's always going to feel weird because it's like you're legally an adult, but I'm 20 and I still can't go out
Holy shit.
or
What are you
have a
wearing?
drink.
What is that perfume?
Alex got it for me.
Oh my god, it smells so good. What is it?
It's an Arabic perfume.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it.
Alex got it for me.
You know, Miguel Angela
Yeah.
got me that oil as a gift
Uh-huh.
from when we were in, I think, in Egypt, and I fucking love that, and I can't get it again. So
A lot of people are profiting off
Yeah.
of Tina. It's unfortunate.
yeah, and it's weird because they're not talking about it. Like, do you know that the Gateway Pundit actually wrote an article citing everything in the amicus, but didn't even link the document of the amicus?
Yeah.
They wouldn't even cite it. When they're the ones that held like events and parties in her name, now that she's ready to come out,
My twins will turn 20 next month. Ooh. Mom, I have to tell you something else.
Phoebe fix your mother's microphone. What? You're not gonna drop a bomb on me live, are you? No, you're not. Exit.
It's not a huge bomb. No, I shouldn't say it.
Yes, you
No,
should not.
no, you guys can know that I'm a normal kid too. I tried to order a fake ID. It didn't go well.
What did I tell you about
It
that?
never came in the
What
mail.
did I tell you about that?
It never came in the mail.
Who's that?
Guys.
Alex, go. He like walked in the house. He's like, hello, go. I told you
Hi.
not to do that.
It didn't work anyway. It's been 7 months. Unfortunate. I lost $200, guys. Don't.
What'd you do? Buy it from China?
I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's called ID God.
What?
Yeah. Am I incriminating myself? And you know what I also did? I put her old address on the old ID. So like, if it were to come and they like ran my name, they'd see that the name is still on like my old apartment. Isn't that smart?
No, it's not. It's not smart buying a fake ID. Period. You could just
You're
take
right,
mine.
guys. Don't get a fake ID. Tell your kids not.
She
to
could
do
just
that
take
shit.
mine and say, no, trust me, I'm
That's
almost
not
50.
true. I stole it once.
Mine? You tried to use it?
I did.
What the hell?
Someone said I'm definitely not 45.
They tell me that all the time too, though. They don't believe me. I have bitches out here, like seriously saying she gets fillers, she's got a lift, she does that, and it's like
She does not. She does not.
mm-mm.
She's not.
I do have this thing though. This will not heal for shit. Right here. Wow, look at the camera zooming by itself. It will not heal. I started biting my lip a couple months ago when I was under like personal stress, and it won't. Yeah. So all I use is my peptides, my copper, which has helped my hair, my skin, my nails, and I take that gut health stuff. I've been begging my doctor to give me the GLP-1 so I could lose like a little bit weight faster, because the only reason I'm losing weight is because my liver's working now, right? Without any changes. I have no changes in diet. I will eat anything. Um, uh, but I tried to have her, but I'm not eligible because of my liver thing. So I'm pissed. But I am taking some Moralin too. That's helped with sleep and hormone regulation. So that's been helping. But I've been trying to find shortcuts because I'm excited. I mean, but I'm not able to. I have a lot of friends that got on it and I'm like jealous as shit. I'm like, I want to do that, but I can't. So um it's whatever. Well, this won't heal at all. I think it's like permanently colored like that now. Um, so yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go because it's almost 6:30. Well, I have 10 minutes. But having said that, I just found it really curious that no one talked about it publicly. Um, how amazing it was that so many people came to her rescue and we reframed the court. Um, and while many people might be like, oh, it's just ego, come on, guys. It's bigger than that. It's way bigger than that. I mean, are we really going to go that pedestrian that, you know, that all these media personalities are just stuck up fucking cunts? No, we can't say that. Like, shit. Like, could you imagine if that's really the reason? It's actually just an operation. So that's that. Um, what else should I touch on? Okay, tomorrow we're going to be doing Brennan. And like I said, I'm going to DC very soon. Um, oh, okay. So I wanted to say something. And I want to keep it kind of bland. Okay. So do you guys remember like back in like 2019, was it, or 2020? Was it 2020 or maybe 2021 when I was flying to Florida and, Millie, Bergie, and Gavin tried to set me up with some guy who went supposedly missing. Do you guys remember that? Do you guys remember that? What happened? Do you guys remember that? Okay. How is it possible that that same guy turns up at my house? Never met the guy, right? And then people are in there saying, "Oh, your community is doing this." Tell you what, there's a lot of fuckery going around, right? I know Mossad was involved in a lot of these things, but it is the most insane thing I've ever seen. And I urge all of you that may be involved, stay away because this is just me. And not because I give a fuck. Like I could give a fuck what bottom feeders have to say or whatever. Because they're just losers, right? They wish they were me. How about that? Um, but you can implicate yourself in something that is under criminal investigation. So I'm just telling you, no matter how nosy you are, no matter how nosy you are, how much you want to see something. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Just stay away. Come here, Nick. You want to say hi? It's my little protector. No matter how nosy you are, right? No matter how, you may thrive on drama, which is not a very good thing, try to keep yourself out of it because this is not going to end well for a lot of people. For a lot of people, it's not going to end well. So this is just me trying to provide some kind of insight. So just stay away and leave it. If you enjoy, drama, then all for it, but don't complain when you're implicated in things, even if you didn't do anything, you just partook or whatever. I would highly suggest you exclude yourself. I've done that a lot with people in my circles um, because it's important to do so. When you see that they're entering into territories that are just not good. And that's where you cut it off and you're just like, look, I don't play like that. So just keep that in mind just in general. Um, Another thing is how badass is our president? And that Garden of Heroes is going to be incredible. People are losing their mind and trying to make it shit. Like totally loving that. So what else? God, I'm still a little bit yeah, it is. It's not worth it. Correct. Oh, yeah, it's a sweater. It says frequent fire. I'm a bitch. Witch. So it's a Halloween themed um, sweater. So I'm gonna bid you guys a great evening. I'm gonna go and put these lamb chops on. Everything else is done. Made a cake. Can't wait for you guys to see it. I'll post pictures. Um, is there anything else? How can people be implicated for research? Ah, mm, a lot of people have been implicated like that, Monte. And I'm talking about specifically when there's targeting. When you see things that enter criminal realms or you hear people, I mean, I don't want to get into details because no one deserves my platform except for the truth. And I don't like bringing on more. This year I said it's a better focus and it's better to just exclude and focus on what we can do for our nation. By the way, those of you that got letters from the state of Colorado, I've taken a look at them. I'm kind of trying to regroup to see how we can use that. Kudos on filing those complaints with the Civil Rights Division at the DOJ. Very important that that happens. We need eyes on it. And yeah, I mean, I'm kind of excited. We have a lot of things going on. And I'm just hoping that my daughter's case actually brings out enough for us, the parents, to be able to class action, which I already have a firm in DC ready to take it. That's how focused I am. Like, I had all the right people cheering on this amicus, and the people that I thought that would have been cheering it on too didn't. It's really bizarre. That's a conversation I had with a lot of people in Washington. And, I was like, well, then why are we doing this? It's like, hey, we keep them close. And I'm like, no, just fucking cut the cord and let people know they're pieces of shit. But no, they said no. That's literally what my response was. Tori, what we're going to do is we're just going to keep an eye on things because we need to figure out who's funding this. And I was like, I could tell you who's funding it. Give me the clearance. I'll have that shit done in like 5 minutes. Just cut them off. The people can't have this garbage in their head constantly. People can't be distracted all the time. You know, how are they going to enter into a peaceful way where they have clarity if they're constantly in a kerfuffle with bullshit, right? Okay, gotta go. I got 2 minutes because I gotta start this because I got people coming. So let's see, what is this that I have? What is this? Me. So now you're gonna see a video of me singing, but it's not really me singing. I'm not May's Love. You remember that influencer on X who fucking took some bitch's song and she was like, oh, I have a sore throat, but I'm gonna sing for you. And it was some other girl, and the girl came out and she was like, why are you using my shit? Why did you lie? That's my song. I made it. It's mine. I'm on YouTube. And you're sitting here on X telling people that you're a singer and shit. That was the funniest shit I had ever seen. And people still take this bitch seriously. But this is my face, somebody else's voice, somebody else's body. So, so have a great evening. Please remember to pray, right? God has got this. I think a lot of people lose sight because they don't understand just how God works. And the thing is, you won't understand unless you have some clarity and a little bit of faith. It's pretty awesome. So God bless everyone. Have a great night. I'm going to go have my baby blow out her 20 candles.
Love is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring, bound by wild desire. I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, burns.
I am here as your president to proclaim before the country and before the world, this monument will never be desecrated. These heroes will never be defaced. Their legacy will never, ever be destroyed. Their achievements will never be forgotten. And Mount Rushmore will stand forever as an eternal tribute to our forefathers and to our freedom. We are the nation that gave rise to the Wright brothers, Harriet Tubman, George Patton, the great Louis Armstrong, Elvis Presley, Ella Fitzgerald. We settled the Wild West, won 2 world wars, landed American astronauts on the moon. Centuries from now, our legacy will be the cities we built, the champions we forged, the good that we did, and the monuments we created. America's destiny is in our sights. America's heroes are embedded in our hearts. America's future is in our hands. And ladies and gentlemen, the best is yet to come.